Hello, my fellow Star Wars scholars, and today we're going to take a look at 10 cool Sith who appeared in Old Republic games. This is a compilation video that I hope you like, and you probably already saw one or two of these clips, but I doubt you've seen them all. So, without further ado, let's start with the list. Number 10, Darth Sion. Darth Sion was a Sith Lord living during the time of the old Sith Wars and fighting beside Exar Kun and his empire. He was known as the Lord of Pain, and you'll know why in a bit, but for now, no, he kept fighting for the Empire as a Sith Marauder until Exar Kun was defeated and his empire went out in flames. Of course, Sion was involved in a lot of fighting, and as such he fought tons of Jedi, defeating them and killing hundreds of opponents before finally finding a Jedi who would best him in combat. This Jedi was the last Darth Sion faced while he was alive, as the Jedi struck him down. However, Sion didn't stay dead. Sion discovered that by focusing and calling upon his hatred and, above all, pain, he was able to keep his soul attached to his body. This was when Darth Sion's dead body rose again, killing the shocked Jedi who thought he had won, and ensuring Sion gained the title Lord of Pain. You can't kill a dead Sith, and this made Sion virtually immortal, as long as he kept focusing on the agony and pain he was experiencing at all times. His body was mangled and decomposing, but he kept it together and went on to survive the Great Sith War. Sometime later, Darth Revan took the mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith and formed another Sith faction together with his apprentice Darth Malak, who was his former Padawan and whose video I'm linking in the description. However, and you know this if you play the games or watch my past videos, this Sith faction would also crumble. Sion watched from Korriban on how the Sith forces failed once again, but soon he discovered Darth Traya, whose video is, again, on the description. And she was hunting for Force wounds and forming a new Sith dream team of sorts. Darth Traya found two anomalies in the Force, Darth Sion and Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Pain and Lord of Hunger respectively. Sion thought he found his purpose once again, and the three Sith Lords formed what is known as the Sith Triumvirate, who aimed to restore the Sith to glory and wipe out the Jedi from the galaxy. Sion served Traya, but he was plagued by how tame her teachings were and even claimed to hear her voice in his head non-stop. Nihilus wasn't pleased with how things were going either, so both of them plotted against Traya and eventually ambushed her on Malachor 5 where she was meditating. Sion beat her up and Nihilus stripped her of her connection to the Force, forcing her to run after waking up from her forced slumber. I apologize ahead for the poor quality of the next clip, but it's an old game and I couldn't get any better resolution from it. However, I'm going to show you the clip anyway for you to see how brutal Sion was.
There are dark places in the galaxy where few tread, ancient centers of learning, of knowledge. But I did not walk alone. To be united by hatred is a fragile alliance at best. But my will was not law. There were disagreements, ambition. And hunger for power. There are techniques within the Force against which there is no defense. I was cast down, stripped of my power, exiled, I suffered indignities and fell into darkness.
The mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith fell to Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger, and the Sith pair went on a rampage until only a couple of Jedi were alive. They noticed the Jedi returning to known space around that time, a straggler as she had been exiled for participating in the Mandalorian Wars besides Revan. Sion spared no time and went to assassinate her, but Traya saved her. The exiled Jedi, Mitra Surik, escaped another attempt on her life, but this time Sion realized how she was beautiful and starting having some strange thoughts about her. And I get you, Sion, we've all been there. Darth Traya isn't exactly known to be loyal, and she betrayed Jedi Surik, returning to the Sith in order to take command, and she even made Darth Sion bend his knee to her. Darth Nihilus was dead, Surik had killed him, so the mantle was free and she took it. Darth Sion was then ordered by his master Traya to wait Surik on Malachor 5 and wipe her out. Surik faced Sion and kept killing him, but again you can't kill what is already dead, and Sion kept getting back on his feet to fight her again and again. It was then Surik realized HK-47 gave her the secret to kill Sion once and for all. You see, this is often a forgotten piece of lore, but it was HK-47 who advised Surik on how to kill Sion. And here's the conversation they had that changed the outcome of this battle and made Surik emerge the winner.
Answer. Master, when conventional weapons will not work, then one must resort to other means of assassination. When Jedi, or Sith, or whatever they call themselves, cannot be defeated with weapons, then use doubt. Evaluation. It sounds as if this Sith Lord is somehow able to keep fighting, no doubt by drawing on his connection to the Force to keep him alive, even after suffering grievous harm. It may be whatever pain he experienced in the past was so great that the technique he used to recover from it and sustain himself also gives him an incredibly high pain threshold. Well, Master, you have heard of Jedi healing techniques. That is certainly possible. The Sith may have their equivalent, although it seems known only to this particular Sith Lord. I know many Jedi and Sith have exhibited strange behavior in near-death situations. This may be another example. Observation. It does seem unlikely, Master, but I have observed that you, allies included, seem to be able to recover from the most grievous injuries, and quickly as well. Perhaps it is not as uncommon as one would think. Besides, it really doesn't matter what you believe. Clarification. Master, I spoke literally. It doesn't matter what you believe, it matters what this Sith Lord believes. If his strength comes from his connection to the Force, then you must undermine that connection, Master. Doubt, Master. It has killed many Jedi, and it has killed many Sith. Make him doubt himself, his beliefs, or his intentions. Such things disrupt connections to the Force, and death soon follows. The only question is what belief or intention he holds dear that would make an effective target. If you should encounter the target in the future, I would bait him into talking and see what you can draw from him that you can use against him.
With all of this said and done, Sion understood the price he was paying for immortality, and through doubt, as HK-47 said, another Sith was defeated. Number 9. Darth Baras.
Darth Baras was a Sith Lord during the Great Galactic War and on the resurgent Sith Empire. He belonged to a family of Sith, as he was brother to Darth Ekage, a Sith lady in her own right. Baras' master was Darth Vengian, and he trained Baras with special attention to his skills as a diplomat, manipulator and interrogator. Baras was the ambassador to Alderaan when the war was closing and the peace talks were underway, and he was also part of the key to make the Treaty of Coruscant a reality, so even though he was a skilled Sith Lord, he excelled as a shrewd politician. After these events, the Empire was deep into the Cold War, and Darth Baras was feuding with another Dark Lord, Darth Angral, his rival. Both of them wanted to bring Setiel Shan, a promising Jedi Knight, to the dark side. They tried, but failed, although they managed to convert a lot of Jedi in the process. Although he was a very fat man, he was skilled in lightsaber combat, as he could hold his ground against his rival Sith Lord Angral and Jedi Knight Setiel Shan before she became Grandmaster of the Order. He also mastered Force Lightning and Force Choke, once having choked an Imperial officer from across the galaxy. Setiel Shan wasn't able to sense him, so it is speculated that Darth Baras could also mask his dark side nature, or could draw a mantle of light side power from nearby light side Force users. Finally, he was able to use Force Screen, the ability Darth Sidious used on Mace Windu, Kit Fisto and the others when they went to arrest him.
Master Windu. I take it General Grievous has been destroyed then. I must say you're here sooner than expected.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
It's treason, then.
Baras was among the strongest Sith sorcerers of his time, able to destroy cities with his Sith magic. Where Baras excelled though was at interrogating prisoners, since he enjoyed seeing them and making them suffer.
I don't care what you do. Break my bones, burn my flesh. I'll tell you nothing.
I will not be denied.
Go spit, you monster!
Finally, no Darth Baras also set up his own spy network to become one of the best informed people in the galaxy, as well as a shadow broker of sorts, dealing in information. It is known that Baras' spy network was almost as big as Darth Jadus, the biggest spy master of the Empire. Finally, he was also a good battlefield commander and the fattest Sith Lord to have ever existed, so at least he holds the #1 spot in the top 10 fattest Sith Lords of all time list. Darth Baras wasn't happy with slowly climbing the ranks, so he aimed to become the voice of the Emperor. To accomplish this, Baras took an apprentice and used him to eliminate his rivals, including his master Darth Vengian, who was leading the sphere of military offense at the time. As he was successful, he took his place on the Dark Council, but his apprentice dueled him right there in front of his peers, as he knew he had surpassed his master, and slew him in front of the other counselors.
Had it better be Darth Vowran coming through those doors?
Don't act like you were expecting me, Baras.
Interesting.
This isn't the time for one of your games, Vowron.
I've come to silence the false voice of the Emperor. One of us will not leave this chamber alive.
You're right about that, child. My fellows, this is my former apprentice. No doubt you're acquainted with his defiance. He was unworthy of me, so I excised him. The Emperor will inform me what is to be done with Vowran. For now, assist me in destroying this rabble.
Don't hide behind the Council, coward.
Fine. Let us swat this gnat and move on.
No. Baras claims to be the voice. This lord claims to be the wrath. I will not provoke the Emperor. The one who lives speaks truth. Fine. The Master will grant the slave's last wish. The Emperor calls for your death. Attack me if you dare.
I was never, nor shall I ever be, your slave.
Number 8. Darth Traya.
Darth Traya, also known as Kreia, was a female Jedi Master who turned Sith Lady and established a Sith triumvirate. She ruled over the remaining Sith after their defeat in the Jedi Civil War. Before the Mandalorian Wars, Traya was a Jedi Master working as a Jedi historian, and she was the tutor of many Jedi students who opted to follow the Jedi Knight Revan to battle against the Mandalorians in an unsanctioned way. Because of this, the Jedi High Council exiled her. Note that Traya was also the master to the powerful Jedi Knight Revan himself for a time, and so she went after him and arrived at Malachor V, being drawn in by the Force echoes. At the source of the echoes was the Trayus Academy, a Sith academy which helped corrupt the then Jedi Master, turning her to the dark side. She searched for Force wounds and found 2 Sith to be her apprentices. These Sith Lords were Darth Sion and Darth Nihilus, both of them 2 powerhouses and among the strongest Sith to have ever existed. It was with Sion and Nihilus that Darth Traya formed the Sith Triumvirate, which aimed to destroy the Jedi Order and rule over the galaxy. An alliance with the strong is never to be trusted though, and Nihilus betrayed her alongside Sion, stripping Traya of her connection to the Force.
There are dark places in the galaxy where few tread, ancient centers of learning, of knowledge. But I did not walk alone. To be united by hatred is a fragile alliance at best. But my will was not law. There were disagreements, ambition, and hunger for power. There are techniques within the Force against which there is no defense. I was cast down, stripped of my power, exiled. I suffered indignities and fell into darkness.
Now Darth Traya was exiled by both Jedi and Sith, and she turned bitter and resentful. She ended up wanting to rid the galaxy of the influence of the Force, and took up the name of Traya once more. It was at this point she got to know one of the strongest female Jedi Knights ever, the ex-Jedi General, and now exile Meetra Surik. Darth Traya found Surik to have enough power and potential to carry her plans, and so she got close to Surik, trying to alter her way of thinking along her journey on the Aben Hawk. She helped Surik finding Zez Kyle, Brook Lamar, and Kavar and revealed herself as a Sith Lord in their presence, severing their connection to the Force and killing them in the Jedi Enclave's ruins on Dantooine. Once this deed was done, she went to the secret Jedi Academy on Telos 4, convincing Master Atris to turn to the dark side. Surik was underestimated though, and she managed to redeem Atris and kill Nihilus, the ruling Dark Lord of the Sith, and the biggest threat to the galaxy since Sion had already been defeated. She then pursued Traya, killing the Darth where her own path began, at the Traya Sith Academy. Here's Darth Traya's final lesson, her last confrontation with Meetra Surik.
At last you have arrived. Is Malachor as you remember? You no doubt have many questions. I would be a poor teacher if I did not give you the answers you seek here now. I never destroyed Atris. She had destroyed herself. I merely stripped away the illusion and brought her truth. Her teachings could not be allowed to continue, and like Malachor, she was part of your past, unresolved. She needed to be something you could confront and defeat one last time. It was part of your training, part of what was needed to make you complete. And there must always be a Darth Traya. The galaxy needs its betrayers, especially in the times to come. She loved you, you know, as one loves a champion. You were all that she could not be. It is all that is left unsaid upon which tragedies are built. More echoes traveling through the Force, It is said that the Force has a will. It has a destiny for us all. I wield it, but it uses us all, and that is abhorrent to me, because I hate the Force. I hate that it seems to have a will, that it would control us to achieve some measure of balance when countless lives are lost. But in you, I see the potential to see the Force die, to turn away from its will, and that is what pleases me. You are beautiful to me, Exile. A dead spot in the Force, an emptiness in which its will might be denied. I use it as I would use a poison, and in the hopes of understanding it, I will learn the way to kill it. But perhaps these are the excuses of an old woman who has grown to rely on a thing she despises. From the moment you awoke, I have used you. I have used you so that you might become strong, stronger than I. I used your death to deceive the Sith, to make them believe they had won, so they would turn on each other. I used you to keep the Lords of the Sith from condemning the galaxy to death with their power unchecked. I used you to lure them to Telos, where they could be at last fought and killed. I used you to reveal Atris's corruption, so that her teaching could be ended before it began. I used you to gather the Jedi so they could be destroyed, and I used you to make those who wounded me reveal themselves, so they could be killed by the Republic. Perhaps you were expecting some surprise, for me to reveal a secret that had eluded you, something that would change your perspective of events, shatter you to your core. There is no great revelation, no great secret. There is only you. In times past and in times future, there are Jedi who will stop listening to the Force, those that will try to forget it, but maintain unconscious ties, and those, as in the past, just as I, who have had the Force stripped from them. But no Jedi ever made the choice you did, to sever ties so completely, so utterly, that it leaves a wound in the Force. It was a mistake to try to make you feel it again, I see that now. There is no truth in the Force, but there is truth in you, Exile, and that is why I chose you. I have thought of this moment more than you know, and I wondered if here, at this ending between us, if you would care enough to try to save me. If a Jedi could find it within themselves to spare one who has fallen so far. I wanted you to say those words. For that I am grateful. But I do not want your mercy. I want you to break. Perhaps it is merely your perceptions of me that have changed. It is strange that you believe Malakor has not. But it has always been timeless to you, this place, and words have always been inadequate for the horrors that took place here. The apprentice must kill the master. If you do not, I will kill you. If I do not, then all you have achieved will be as nothing, as empty and as violent as Malakor itself. There is more than death in this galaxy, and you shall not find it easy. It was difficult to draw you here, but it had to be done. This place is your last test. It is the graveyard of the past, where you lost everything. It is the dark place in your mind that still echoes of failure. Now we shall see if you can overcome the weight of Malakor and silence the echoes that beat from its heart. Finish this. Kill me. If you do not kill me, I shall end you. I died long ago, and now the circle is complete. Strike me down, and at last end this. You have strength, but you have yet to learn the full extent of power. You will not show me mercy. I will see you break before you do. It is done. At last it is done. You are greater than any I have ever trained. By killing me here, you have rewarded me more than you can possibly know. It is enough what you have done, from now into the future. Many choices were there, but you made the right ones. I had hoped you would follow Revan's path, but you and Revan are different, and your path is your own. You may take one of the ships that orbit Malakor and depart this place, or You may remain here on Malachor and wait for the others, those touched by the Force, who will come in time. Or you may return to your exile, where your presence will no longer affect the actions of others. There is no dishonor in any of these choices. I only ask that you make the choice without regret.
As a curiosity fact, know that Darth Traya was initially planned to be Master Atris from the Jedi Academy, and only at the last minute did the story developers shift towards making Traya the Darth instead. There is a model in the Knights of the Old.
Number 7. Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus was a human Sith Lord, was a Dark Lord of the Sith during the time after the Jedi Civil War. Before he was a Sith Lord, he was in a pretty bad place, as he was in range of the Mass Shadow Generator's super weapon, a weapon that surrounded Malachor 5 with a Mass Shadow, which was a spatial singularity which affected Nihilus in a deep way. Nihilus survived the weapon's activation, but became a wound on the Force, craving Force energy at all times. This affliction really took a toll on his body, and the wound he became was a Force anomaly, much like Darth Sion, whose video I also published recently. As I stated in Darth Sion's video and Darth Traya's video as well, Traya was looking for wounds in the Force, and she found both Sion and Nihilus. To Nihilus, she promised that if he followed her as an apprentice, she would help him feed his never-ending hunger for Force energy. It was due to this hunger he became known as the Lord of Hunger himself throughout the galaxy. He became Traya's apprentice, and together with Traya and Sion formed the Sith Triumvirate. His strength became too much to control though, and since Sion was also tired of Traya's teachings, they both rebelled against her. Sion beat her up pretty badly, and Nihilus stripped her out of her connection to the Force. Here's a clip portraying those events. Like in Sion's video, I apologize for the quality of the following clip, but it's from an old game, and as such it doesn't properly have an HD format.
There are dark places in the galaxy where few tread, ancient centers of learning, of knowledge. But I did not walk alone. To be united by hatred is a fragile alliance at best. But my will was not law. There were disagreements, ambition. And hunger for power. There are techniques within the Force against which there is no defense. I was cast down, stripped of my power, exiled. I suffered indignities and fell into darkness.
After this happened, Traya had to run, and Nihilus took the mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith. He then proceeded to purge the Jedi Order together with his Sith ally Darth Sion. If you are thinking his mask is cool, then no, he was so afflicted by his Force hunger that he had to call upon the dark side of the Force to bind his spirit to his mask or he'd die. As a Force wound, he was the bearer of some pretty unusual Force powers. To absorb the Jedi's Force energy at the Conclave on Qatar, Nihilus ended up absorbing the Force energy of every living thing on the planet, leaving only one woman alive, a Miraluka named Visage Marr. Visage Marr was adopted by Nihilus as his apprentice, and one who would later take on the title of Shadowhead. It was at around this time an exiled Jedi was returning to known space. It was a Jedi human female who was exiled for siding with Revan on the Mandalorian Wars. This Jedi was named Mitra Surik, and she was trying to find the remaining Jedi Masters. What's more, Darth Traya was disguised as her former self, the Jedi Kreia, and took Mitra Surik under her wing for the time being. Darth Nihilus ordered Visage Marr to assassinate Mitra Surik, but Surik defeated her and turned her to the light. When Nihilus started the Battle of Tylos Ford, his ship was boarded in secret by Visage Marr, Mandalore the Preserver, and Mitra Surik. The three of them confronted the Dark Lord and killed him, but his spirit stayed in his mask, which was buried in Korriban, where he can still be contacted today through a holocron he made himself. Number 6. Ajunta Pall.
Ajunta Pall was initially from the Jedi Order. He was training as a Jedi Padawan and got his knighthood, and even achieved the rank of Jedi Master. Instead of focusing on lightsaber combat or force meditation, he started to learn and perfect the ways of alchemy, discovering the elusive secret of creating and shaping life. The Jedi Order always frowned upon such unnatural powers, and they tried not only to stop Paul and his followers from learning more but actually erase all of the knowledge, as they deemed it part of the dark side of the Force. Master Jedi Ajunta Pall thought the Jedi were being naive and intolerant, and he declared a war against them, together with his faithful followers. This was the beginning of the 100-Year Darkness. High General Ajunta Pall was now fighting strategically and on the field. On the last battle on Korbos, he killed dozens of Jedi, and he and his fellow Dark Jedi held on valiantly until the Jedi Order defeated them. They were dishonored, discharged, and exiled. The exiles searched for a habitable world, and it was then that they discovered the Red World of Korriban. The Dark Jedi came out and discovered that the world was already inhabited by the Sith species, a species that was force-sensitive, belligerent, and technologically primitive. The Sith resisted the Dark Jedi's pursuit for their Force knowledge and their attempts at subjugation, but eventually, Ajunta Pall recruited the Sith's Shadow Hand. Pall executed Grosh, the Sith King, as his Shadow Hand betrayed his species. The Sith were in awe of Pall and the other Dark Jedi, and they started worshipping them as gods. Pall subjugated the species and became their Dark Lord. Here was the first Dark Lord of the Sith. It was Ajunta Pall who founded the first Sith Empire, expanding it to the surrounding worlds and taking the planet Ziost, which was the Empire's capital and the planet the Dark Lord started calling home. After serving the Empire for decades on end, Pall eventually died and was buried in a massive tomb on the Valley of the Dark Lords, the valley you know from Korriban. However, Ajunta Pall's spirit was still inhabiting his tomb, and he stayed in this world through the use of alchemy. He would spend his afterlife thinking about what he had done, and reviewing his life, eventually questioning his actions. Some millennia after, Revan entered Ajunta Pall's tomb to get his sword, and he was confronted by Pall's spirit. He told Revan of the shame he now had of his life, and that the Sith were doomed to fight each other and kill their own order. Revan redeemed Ajunta Pall and turned his spirit to the light side, which relieved Pall from his pain, allowing him to become one with the Force and rest at last.
Number 5. Darth Malak.
Originally called Alec, Malak was born in the Outer Rim territories, and he witnessed the attack of his homeworld by the Mandalorians, fleeing the battle. He then started to be trained by the Jedi Order, as he had potential with the Force. Malak had regular Jedi training and became a Jedi Knight, becoming Revan's best friend. Revan was another Jedi, and one you can learn about in an upcoming video, but we'll talk about him later in this clip. The Republic was fighting a war against the Mandalorians, and Malak wanted to fight them, despite the Council not wanting to get involved. This made Malak join a splinter faction of Jedi who wanted to aid the Republic, headed by Jedi Knight and General Revan, his friend. The Jedi Council issued a warrant with his name on it, and tried to have him imprisoned, so he changed his name to Malak to avoid detection and make it easier for him to run from justice. Malak and Revan continued to fight against the Mandalorians, and they got renowned as fierce warriors and dauntless generals, gaining reputation and admiration throughout the galaxy. The Mandalorians were defeated. They pushed them back to the unknown regions, and found the Sith Emperor. They both fell to the dark side and became Sith Lords Darth Revan and Darth Malak. The Sith Emperor had a devious plan, a plan that involved taking advantage of the huge superiority of the ancient precursor race, the Rakata, the previous lords of the galaxy. Darth Malak and Darth Revan were ordered to find the Star Forge, which was a precursor Rakatan space station that could destroy both the Republic and the Jedi in one decisive blow. The two friends found the star maps and eventually found the superweapon floating on Rakata Prime. Darth Revan became the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Darth Malak took the role of Sith apprentice. They disappeared for some time and founded their Sith Empire, returning to crush the Jedi and their tyranny, something we can understand since the Jedi Council refused to get involved in the Mandalorian War. If you are wondering how Darth Malak lost his jaw, no, it was Darth Revan who took it with a flick of his lightsaber. The Jedi planned to capture Revan and Malak and sent a team to them, but Malak took the opportunity to betray Revan and fired on his master's ship. Thinking Revan was dead, he took up the mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith and ruled the Sith Empire, conquering everything he passed by, even taking Darth Bandon as his Sith apprentice and shadow hand. Darth Bandon was also a fallen Jedi, and one whose story you can watch in one of my other videos. However, Revan managed to survive, having his mind wiped by the Jedi. The Jedi also planted new memories on Revan, making him loyal to the Republic. Darth Malak was quick to remind Revan about his true identity, and Bastila Shan allowed herself to be captured so Revan could escape the Sith. Shan fell to the dark side, corrupted by Malak, and replaced Darth Bandon as Malak's apprentice. Bandon was killed by Revan some time before, and Bastila, having the battle meditation technique, made her a perfect substitute. Revan, however, wasn't going to give up on Shan, and he confronted the Sith Lord and apprentice on and beneath the Star Forge, redeeming Bastila and defeating Malak in lightsaber combat. The Republic had won, but Malak was certainly immortalized in history.
Number 4. Darth Jadus.
Darth Jadus was a human Sith Lord who lived during the resurgent Sith Empire and was part of the Dark Council. Jadus was known to be the Emperor's second-in-command, and he focused his efforts in managing the Imperial Intelligence Network. However, he was getting concerned about the future of the Empire due to his fellow Sith Lords infighting and the xenophobia reigning among the upper classes. Jadus then decided to organize a coup against the Dark Council, trying to unify the Empire and bring the Sith's teachings to the Imperial citizens. Jadus was known to be brilliant, cold, and calculating, self-restraining himself while not falling prey to his senses and emotions like many of his Sith Lord peers. He kept his dark side emotions to himself, even hiding his facial emotions through the use of a mask. He didn't care about the power struggles and fighting other Dark Counselors were engaged in, rather seeing them as an obstacle to Sith domination. As for his contributions to the glory of the Empire, he made and maintained the biggest espionage organization and network in the entire galaxy, and freely allowed aliens to participate in it. However, other Sith Lords weren't pleased with his tendency to uplift ordinary citizens rather than Sith, a trait that earned him fame and followers who would lay down their lives for him. His mastery of the Force was great, and he was able to use dark healing abilities, Force Lightning, Force Choke, and even teleportation. The Emperor himself declared Jadus to be the best Sith his empire ever had, and it was widely believed Jadus' powers were second only to the Emperor himself. As a fun fact about Jadus, know that anyone in his presence felt pain and suffering due to his dark side aura.
This is not your domain, Keeper. It is mine. It has always been mine.
Of course, my lord.
All you have built here, all you hope to control, it falls apart as easily as a human life. An hour ago, the Minister of Intelligence dropped to his knees and wept before me. He would do so too, if not for fear of being humiliated.
Your dissatisfaction is clear, my lord. It will be remedied. Now I'm asking you humbly to leave. These people are suffering in your presence.
I will leave my domain at the moment of my choosing, Keeper. You, Agent, you were the one sent to Hutter. Is that correct?
That's correct, my lord.
I am Darth Jadus. You served me well in your dealings with Nemro. You will serve me well again.
It would be an honor.
Sublimate your desires to those of the Empire, and you will go far. Keeper, you will use this one. She will complete the assignment as I have instructed.
She's quite capable, my lord, but she lacks experience. A more seasoned agent...
I have made my decision. I wish the situation resolved before I leave Dromund Kaas. See to it that my will is done.
Very well. I'll make arrangements. Congratulations, Agent. You've made a friend on the Dark Council. I don't envy you.
You're dangerously close to insulting our masters.
There's no Sith here to protect you, girl. Time to drop the pose. I want you outfitted and ready to leave as soon as possible. Grab your equipment from the lockers and meet me in my office. Once we're through with your debriefing, we'll discuss your next mission.
Notice how the Keeper humbly requested Darth Jadus to leave as his presence was causing suffering to everyone? How desperate do you have to be to try to send your Dark Lord away? This speaks for itself.
Number 3. Lord Scourge.
Lord Scourge was a Sith pureblood and he served as the Sith Emperor's enforcer, known as the Emperor's Wrath. He was born decades before the Jedi Civil War when Darth Revan and Darth Malak started their war on the Galactic Republic. Lord Scourge, as a Sith student at the Sith Academy, was always a successful fighter and excelled a student. During the time Darth Nihilus was on the Dark Council, there were several assassination attempts on him, and Lord Scourge was called to Dromund Kaas to investigate them and discover the one who wanted Nihilus dead. It was then that Lord Scourge began his path on political intrigue and gained substantial experience as a secret agent. He discovered that all of the leads were pointing to Darth Exedrix, another member of the Dark Council. With this said and done, Lord Scourge killed him and it was revealed Darth Nihilus had been manipulating Scourge to test his loyalty. Scourge passed, and so Nihilus revealed a conspiracy against the Emperor, and that the Emperor killed millions of innocents just to achieve immortality. Scourge then saw the Emperor needed to be stopped, and he did something he never expected. He allied himself with Jedi Masters Revan and Surik. Unfortunately, he had a vision of their imminent failure, and that it wasn't them, but another Jedi at another time, who would destroy the Sith Emperor. He betrayed Surik and Revan to ensure he would live to help that chosen Jedi. By doing this, he was rendered immortal himself and was given the title of Emperor's Wrath, serving the Emperor for 300 years, and ensuring his will was done upon the galaxy. It was during the Galactic War that Scourge found the hero of Tython, the chosen Jedi who would defeat the Emperor. The hero was captured but managed to escape partially because Scourge helped him too. Scourge knew the Emperor had planned to suck the Force out of all the living beings of the galaxy to achieve ultimate power. Scourge helped the hero of Tython to defeat the Emperor and received the Cross of Glory from the Republic as an honor for his role in foiling the Sith Emperor's plans. I found a compilation of Lord Scourge's speech you can watch to know more about him.
When I was born, we thought the rest of the galaxy to be mystery and legend. We had been alone for 1,000 years, spoken to no one but Sith, and they do not change. They are the same on Korriban now as in my childhood. The same tricks, the same fights, the same groveling and mind control. When I was born, the Emperor was the Empire. Everything existed to feed his whims. He was so far above us, no one, Sith or slave, would have dared even form an opinion about him. I was wrong. He is a disease that must be stopped before it ravages us. In his presence, I first saw who he was and what he planned.
For a time, I worked with the greatest of your Jedi heroes, Revan and the Jedi Exile.
It should not have surprised anyone that Revan turned Sith. He knew you cannot fight the dark side without understanding it. I liked them. I would have served them, but my vision told me they would fail. I cut down the Exile and brought Revan to the Emperor as a gift.
The Emperor's wrath is coming.
Who's the Emperor's wrath? The Sith Lord?
A ghost. His wrath incarnate. I will be punished for my crimes. Even the Dark Council fears him.
Your friends did not survive. You fight alone.
The dark side is no trick when you feel anger in your every connection to the Force. When you can accept that a man of authority must use any means necessary to achieve his ends. Then you will have discovered the dark side.
Centuries ago, I had a vision of the Emperor destroying the galaxy. Republic, Empire, everything gone. The Emperor is determined to destroy the galaxy. It's him or us. Immortality comes at a terrible price.
The dark
side is empty, Scourge. You won't miss it. Darkness holds more than either of you realize.
It's over, Lord Scourge. The Emperor is defeated.
I know nothing. You haven't killed him. Strike! Do it now!
Taste, smell, touch, color, emotion. I still remember the feel of sunlight on my skin, the scent of favorite foods, the color of my first love's eyes. To experience those simple pleasures again would be worth anything.
Number 2. Darth Marr.
Darth Marr was a Dark Lord of the Sith and member of the Dark Council during 2 galactic wars and the Cold War with the Galactic Republic. He was an influential Sith Lord because he was an Empire defender to his core and a warrior many on both the Jedi and Sith sides feared. Something that is also worthy of note is Darth Marr got a seat on the Dark Council at only 22 years of age, being among the youngest Sith leaders ever. During the Great War, the young Sith Master was given the task to lead the Empire's sphere of defense, and he did this with great success, halting Republic advances and driving back light side armies one after another. When the war was over, Darth Marr felt it was time to train an apprentice, and so he took Darth Malgus as his pupil. It wasn't too long until even Darth Malgus managed to get the rank of Sith Lord, as Marr was a great master. When the Dark Council started to lose members, Marr was one of the 7 left, so he started to prepare Imperial defenses. He focused his efforts on this during the Cold War, which took him away from Sith politics. Sith politics were complicated at the time, with much infighting, and when the war broke out the Republic started to hunt down Sith counselors, so the numbers on the Dark Council started to dwindle greatly, with treachery on one side and war on the other. In the end, he assumed leadership with Darth Mortis and Darth Ravage, sharing military power only with Darth Decimus and Darth Baras, who also died, leaving Marr the only Sith Lord leading the Empire's military, which gave him tremendous power. Marr learned Revan was still alive and that he wanted to revive the Emperor, and so met with Grandmaster Setiel Shan to celebrate a truce and combine forces, as he knew if the Emperor was revived, he would try to eradicate all life in the galaxy. Marr and Shan joined forces and fleets, but some time after Darth Marr was captured and taken to Zakuul, where Emperor Valkorion, another identity of Emperor Vitiate, was expecting him, very much alive. The Emperor offered them clemency if they would join him, but Darth Marr refused and attacked him. The legendary Sith warrior Darth Marr managed to kill a lot of the Emperor's guards, but was hit by Valkorion's Force lightning barrages, dying to the wounds. He didn't die completely and remained in the galaxy as a Force ghost, which is no small feat. As a Force ghost, he stated he was wrong in his life and that there is no death, only the Force, confessing it was foolish of him to dismiss the Jedi Code, showing remorse for his dark side life.
Number 1. Darth Malgus. Darth Malgus was a Sith Lord of the Sith Empire from the Great Galactic War to the Third Galactic War. Before he was a Sith, he was being raised by his stepfather, and he killed a Twi'lek servant still as a young boy, feeling the gentle tug of the dark side of the Force. He was Force sensitive and as such was sent to the Sith Academy of Dromund Ka, where he graduated as a Sith warrior and was promoted to the rank of commander in the Imperial military. In the Outer Rim, on the world of Geonosis, Darth Malgus discovered the Twi'lek slave and he took her, but soon fell in love with her, and her name was Elena Daru. They fought together for a time and took care of each other's back during combat against the Galactic Republic. Malgus still had a master though. His name was Vindicon, and he was the leader behind the victorious conquest of Korriban. It was at this time Malgus killed his master, striking him while welcoming him home, punishing Vindicon for being injured by Jedi Master Khal Sen-Dara. I'm going to go ahead and show you a cinematic for the battle now.
Korriban, ancient birthplace of the Sith. We believed ruins were all that remained of their evil empire.
I swear, I had no idea what was in those crates. I'm innocent.
You were smuggling Sith artifacts, Captain.
Fine, keep the artifacts. Just give me back my ship.
Eyes front.
Just inspecting the troops, Corporal.
Satele, what's wrong?
I sense a great darkness.
Sith Empire has returned. We must warn the Republic.
Our shuttles can't outrun those fighters.
Well, guess who's got the fastest ship in the sector?
Station defenses breach. All hands evacuate.
Look out!
Will she fly?
She's not pretty, but she's tough.
Captain, prep your ship. This is our fight.
T7, prep the iron cannons.
Go, Satele. You must walk a different path.
On those guns, now!
They've escaped, Master. You failed.
No, Malgus. This is only the beginning.
Yes. After 1,000 years, Korriban is ours again. Welcome home.
This is a great movie that gives you a really good feel of how Malgus was at the time. Sometime after, Malgus was the leader behind the surprise attack on Alderaan, and the Sith triumph in the beginning, only to suffer a strong counterattack led by Satele Shan. He was greatly wounded and forced to use the respirator that became part of his trademark look. Again, there's a cinematic for that, and it's cool seeing how he got the wounds and his face destroyed. It's cool to see how Satele evolved by this point as well, so let's watch it.
For centuries, Alderaan stood as a beacon of hope in the Republic. But the Empire came. And with one savage strike, brought Alderaan to her knees. Now, time is running out, as few are left to face the enemy. For those that remain, there is but one choice. We must fight to victory or death for the Republic! the sacrifices are heavy, we fight knowing that a single spark of courage can ignite the fires of hope and restore peace across the galaxy.
The Empire had a plan, and it was to pursue peace with the Republic, only to lower their guard and take Coruscant as their capital. Malgus was chosen by Darth Angral to lead a strike team right to the middle of the Jedi Temple, and it was then that one of the coolest battles occurred.
Our time has come. For 300 years, we prepared, we grew stronger. While you rested in your cradle of power, believing your people were safe and protected. Trusted to lead the Republic, but you were deceived. As our powers of the dark side have blinded you. Assumed no force could challenge you. And now, finally, we have returned. Deceived. And now your Republic shall fall.
Half of the members of the Jedi High Council were now dead, and the Jedi Order was disgraced. This is probably my favorite Darth Malgus moment, and I think many of you can relate to that. One thing to point out though is that the Twi'lek beside him is the slave turned lover I was talking about earlier, Elena Daru. Malgus was charged with defending Coruscant and defying the Empire's orders to stay his hand. He went and struck again to pursue Jedi Arian Lanier, who was trying to kill him to avenge her master. That's the last guy Malgus killed in the cinematic, by the way. Lanier failed, but something succeeded, and that something was the dark side of the Force, which was able to pull Malgus down, convincing him that his love for Daru was a weakness and was preventing him from breaking all bonds and thus achieve great power. He killed Daru, and meanwhile the Imperials were celebrating an enforced peace with the Republic, and Malgus hated him for it, as he wanted the Republic to be completely wiped out. Malgus used the Cold War period to conquer territories in the unknown regions and bolster the Empire's strength. When the Sith Emperor was presumed dead, Malgus stepped forward and declared a new empire under him, free from the Dark Council, but he was discovered by the Republic and the Imperials and defeated. Malgus returned though, and at the start of the Third Galactic War he served under Empress Asina during the invasion of Austria. Malgus is an ambitious Sith, so he decided this wasn't the life he wanted, becoming rogue and attempting to expunge all remaining restraints on his power and the restraints imposed over him. Did you enjoy this video? If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And meanwhile, since you're at it, why don't you click the notification bell to receive a notification whenever a new video comes out. I hope to see you around, and may the Force be with you.